Welcome to our latest Wandering Walks of Wonder History Walking Tour. Today we're in Falls City, Nebraska. Falls City is located in Richardson County in the southeastern part of the state. Falls City has long been a hub for trade, transportation, and agriculture. The city itself was founded on June 7, 1857 by a group of settlers led by James Lane, J.E. Burbank, and several others. The men were all abolitionists, and the city was established as a station on the Underground Railroad on a section referred to as the Lane Trail. The city was named after the natural waterfalls on the Nemaha River, which were an important geographical feature at the time. The falls have since been submerged due to changes in the river's course. In its early years, Falls City developed as a key trade and transportation center. Located along the Oregon Trail and Pony Express routes, the city attracted settlers, businesses, and railroad expansion. Richardson County, where Falls City is the county seat, was one of the earliest settled areas in Nebraska. To our right, we've been walking past the Richardson County Courthouse. This historic building began construction in 1923 and was completed in 1925. It was designed by architect William F. Gurnant in the classical revival style, a very popular style during the early 1920s. Inside, there are two murals, including one about William Penn. This building has been listed on the National Register of Historic Places since 1990. We're now walking through the Falls City Historic Commercial District. This district represents a little over 60 buildings, many of them dated from the late 1800s through the mid 1950s. These buildings represent the commercial business as well as educational, school, and other interests that brought people into the downtown area of Falls City from all over this region. The arrival of the Burlington and Missouri River Railroad in the late 19th century significantly boosted Falls City's economy, allowing for increased commerce and facilitating the transportation of agricultural goods, a key part of the economy here in this part of Nebraska. Across the street from us is representative of that increased commerce ability, and that's the old Richardson County Bank Building as well as the Masonic Temple. Falls City flourished in the early 20th century with downtown businesses, schools, and civic institutions taking root. The Grand Weaver Hotel and the Rivoli Theater became landmarks in the city's commercial district. During this period, Falls City was home to notable figures such as Arthur J. Weaver, a Falls City native who became the 22nd governor of Nebraska in the late 1920s and early 1930s, as well as Preston Love, a jazz musician associated with Count Basie's band. This three-story brick building is very prominent at the corner of 17th and Stone Streets. Built as the Falls City State Bank in 1895, this building originally housed the bank on the southern half of the building with a hardware store and later a grocer on the northern side of the building. What a fun, creative, and free museum. The Collection Museum displays collections from local people, one of which includes about 1,600 pig figurines. It's a cool building in that there's also a very interesting history inside about the Underground Railroad that was once a stop here on this site when it was originally a homestead building, and previous to that, this building was part of a 1920 era's men's clothing store. The gathering of people's collections inside creates a really fun museum. The Falls City Library and Art Center serves as a cultural and educational hub for the city. This 1,500 square foot facility was designed by Clark and Anderson, who drew inspiration from a painting by local artist John Falter that graced the December 1946 cover of the Saturday Evening Post. The building's design reflects the international style of the 1940s. It features a simple facade as well as a modular shape symbolizing progress and civic pride. In 2019, Falls City was designated a City of Art by the state, reflecting its rich history of artists, musicians, writers, and philanthropists. The Falls City Library and Arts Center plays a central role in the cultural heritage, houses a significant art collection, and hosts various programs that enrich the community's artistic landscape. The First Christian Church has a storied history marked by significant developments in its physical structures. In 1876, the congregation purchased a lot and began constructing their first church building. This building, completed in June of 1877 at a cost of about $2,500, was dedicated by Reverend J. M. Briney of Maryville, Kansas. By 1910, the congregation had outgrown its original building and commissioned architects Wood and Cordner to design a new structure. The Richardson County Historical Society Museum is dedicated to preserving and showcasing the rich history of the region. The centerpiece of the museum is a historic house built in 1888 for the T.J. Gist family, descendants of David and Ann Dorrington, noted abolitionists who settled in Falls City in 1857. This residence remained a family home until 1928 when it was converted into a funeral home, a role it maintained until 2002 when it was purchased by the Richardson County Historical Society to centralize and publicly display artifacts related to the county. The Grand Weaver Hotel, originally known as the Hotel Weaver, was constructed in 1924 by the Falls City Hotel Corporation, a consortium of local investors. The hotel was renamed in honor of the Honorable A.J. Weaver, a prominent Falls City resident who also served as Nebraska's governor from 1929 to 1931. As a major investor and president of the Falls City Hotel Corporation, Weaver was instrumental in bringing the project to life. Since its opening, the Grand Weaver Hotel has been a cornerstone of downtown Falls City. The four-story brick building exemplifies early 20th century architecture and has continuously operated as a hotel even through various renovations to preserve its historic charm. Next door to the Grand Weaver Hotel is the old Rivoli Theater. This is a storied building that dates back to its opening in 1927. Constructed at a cost of $75,000, the two-story brick and reinforced concrete building was developed by the Falls City Hotel Corporation, led by A.J. Weaver, who built the Weaver Hotel right next door. Designed in the Mission Revival style, the Rivoli Theater featured a single screen with seating for about 650 people. Its exterior at one time was adorned with a very prominent red vertical sign spelling out Rivoli in white letters accentuated with neon, and a large red marquee that sheltered the entrance. The theater itself was operating as late as 1983, where it was still open and showing movies. But, however, in the years that followed, the theater ceased operations and eventually stood vacant. By 2014, the building was unoccupied, but today is occupied. But unfortunately, both the marquee and that iconic vertical sign had to be removed. Across the street on our left is what was once the old library, city hall, as well as fire department building. This building, constructed in the early 1900s, is now a drugstore. I hope you've enjoyed your Wandering Walks of Wonder tour here in beautiful Falls City, Nebraska. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and we will see you on our next Wandering Walks of Wonder walking tour. Take care now. Bye-bye.